Welcome back to Tran Wins Baldur's Gate 3. Today we have a prepared video. The blind video will be stuff like the dungeon we just went through, the Overgrown Ruins. A planned video is one such as the Emerald Grove, where I play through it a couple times, write down notes, and then script out how I'm going to run this. So in order to maximize approval, we're going to do a few things. So this first event we're going to do, it didn't appear for me the first time I went through here, and I've done a lot of things since then, so it's probably a matter of how many events we have triggered that causes this next encounter to appear. We're going to separate Asterion from the group.
Don't linger.
He will rejoin when it comes time to collect approval, because his approval of me is actually pretty low.
My, what manner of place is this? A path to redemption? Or a road to damnation? Hard to say, for your journey is just beginning.
What would suit the occasion? The words to a lullaby, perhaps. The mouse smiled brightly. It outfoxed the cat. Then down came the claw. And that, love, was that. They do know how to write them in Cormier, don't they? Well met, I am Raphael. Very much at your service.
So this took me 8 runs to get all the information I needed out of 2 different parties and 4 different dialogue options. Walk away while you still have legs to walk with.
It looks like a half-orc, but speaks like a beast. Must be the surroundings, rather bleak and lonesome. One feels so exposed. This quaint little scene is decidedly too middle of nowhere for my tastes.
Come.
There, middle of somewhere.
Can you be more specific than somewhere?
The House of Hope, where the tired come to rest and the famished come to feed lavishly. Go on, partake, enjoy your supper. After all, it might just be your last.
Hell yeah, I'm not gonna say no to free food.
Not easily rattled, I see. Good. Makes the next part that much more straightforward. What's better than a devil you don't know? A devil you do. Am I a friend? Potentially. An adversary? Conceivably. But a savior? That's for certain.
I don't care what you are. I care what you want.
Oh, a mere trifle. How dear is one's soul, really? A rhetorical question, of course, but let me venture an answer. It's worth very little with a tadpole in your head. 1 skull, 2 tenants, and no solution in sight. I could fix it all like that.
Okay, here is where you get your approval or disapproval from your allies. This section here. So I had to basically run this with a good and evil party, picking every single one of these and then cataloging what the changes are. We're going to pick number 4 so that we can get the most approval from our teammates. Then fix it or die at my hand.
Yes. I like it when my clients put up a fight, only to realize victory was never an option. Try to cure yourself, shop around, beg, borrow, and steal. Exhaust every possibility until none are left. And when hope has been whittled down to the very marrow of despair, that's when you'll come knocking on my door. Hope. Such a tease.
Now, I don't know what long-term ramifications, if any, there are from that choice I just made, but realistically, you couldn't even agree to have him help you, because then he'll say, oh, well, it's too easy. I want you to go look around, and he gives you the exact same line. Remember, this is just the first part of the game. They're obviously not going to let you cure it this early on, if ever. Let's see here. We will have our work say, I'll have the last laugh in the end.
I've always wondered what a laughing mind flayer sounds like. All those pretty little symptoms, sundering skin, dissolving guts, they haven't manifested yet, have they? One might say you're a paragon of luck. I'll be there when it runs out.
3 items received. So let's take a look at this marvelous feast that we filled up our plate with. I already had these 4 supply packs. We got a piece of bread, an apple, and some wine. That is it. It is literally going to be 9 units of food when we need 80 for camp. I mean, it's not like the game is stingy with food, but in this case, it definitely did not correspond with what was going on. Let's take a look at the book we acquired. A chapter from a diary penned in Raphael's Sybaritic hand. While I have, over many a sumptuous season, cast the net of my contractual predilections both far and wide, never have I been so attracted to mortals as I am to those infested by the tadpole. These particular fish find themselves plashing toward their doom, toward a steel hook unblemished by bait. How they resist the current, how inexorable its whelm, its tug, its dark undertow. At the other end of the fishing pole, the illithid, how their tentacles must quiver like cooled jelly at the prospect of more catches. More and more each day along the troubled riverbank. This process has a name a sample now allowed to savor its taste. Ceramorphosis. I shall make crafty use of this development. For with the hook glinting and death so close, what could loom larger in the stricken fish's mind than the prospect of rescue? So, first off, this skeleton, not everything shows up when you're holding Alt. I'm holding Alt right now. But the skeleton does have good loot. He's got a silver pendant of guidance. Once you pick it up, you roll for a history check.
The necklace matches the sigil in that cave. The Harpers were busy.
This is also important loot. It's a barrel of oil. You can just send that to your camp. Up here is just some gold, nothing major, but we will actually go up there.
Wonder if the gods are watching me. That might be worth a look.
In here are spiders, and they can emerge to attack you when you reach for the bag inside. One way you could deal with it is be up here and then attack the rock with anything, such as a Eldritch Blast or something, and then they'll emerge and you can start attacking them. They can run up the web. They can also jump and bite you anyways. But up here will give you a little bit more leeway when fighting them. Let's go ahead and deliberately try to fail the rolls in order to let you see what happens.
Cursed to put my hands on everything.
At the back of the crevice lies a bag enfolded in the chitinous squabbling of spiders. A shiny gold coin pokes from its mouth.
Survey the spiders.
The creatures clutch the pouch possessively. You have no doubt a spider egg is nestled within.
Now, if you want to min-max things, you actually want to fail this repeatedly so that you spawn spiders and get to kill them for experience points. We're just going to go ahead and pick Dart Your Hand and hoping to snatch the bag, see what happens. That's fine. We're good with this.
Pincers pierce your flesh. Their chitters become giggles. The intruder is punished.
Wow. That was a pretty good roll there.
The infuriated spiders pour in all directions like sand. The swarm is coming.
One of the reasons why I like Asterian's hand crossbows is it means I get to fire at 2 different targets. But unfortunately, I guess I messed that one up because this one... Okay, hold on. Normally, he's supposed to fire 1 target. I looked at this. I thought it had 1 sword on it. I'll double check that at the end of battle. Go and just stab this one twice. Missed. We'll have Asterian move out of the way. Cat goes in. Tran swings.
Still breathing, despite everything.
That's why I wasn't really worried about that. He literally did 0 damage. He can also poison, but generally they would do maybe 2 to 4 damage if they were to hit you.
Time to kill.
That's more like it, Tran. That's what I expect to see from you. Okay, so yes, it was actually toggled. When this is 2 blades, it means that you are going to shoot twice. When it's 1 blade, it means I can then split my targets apart. That is something I still need to get used to. One of the reasons why we brought Karlach along was for that.
A bag lies within the crevice, enfolded in the chitinous squabbling of spiders. A shiny gold coin pokes from its mouth.
We get to take the bag now.
You stash the bag in your pack. Something clinks among the coins.
Inside this bag that we fought so hard to acquire is 13 gold and a spider egg sac. I'm going to go ahead and throw it now just to show you what it does, but understand that this is a waste, and in the save that I will be continuing from after this recording session, I will still have this egg sac. It spawns 5 crag spiders level 1, just like what we fought, except there are 4 here. The reason why there's a discrepancy between me doing it now and me having it on my save file is I need to show you what the egg sac does. While we can assume it spawns 1 or more spiders, it's good to know how many and how tough they are. And we can see here that they're running up the web, which I think is really cool. We're going to return to base real quick, and I'm going to talk to everybody because they have dialogue about Raphael that they will no longer talk about if you wait too long. Also, I'm putting off talking to Gale for a while. And finally, when it comes to getting inspirations, we can take a look. And it says here, Karlach got 20 XP. Yes, getting inspiration can give your party experience. We'll see here that she has 941 XP, and Tran has 921 XP. She actually has 20 more experience. This doesn't actually help you. I'm assuming a future patch will fix this. But if I were to dismiss her right now, and then re-implement her into the party, she'd be set to Tran's experience points, which would be 921. Alright, Shadowheart. You can talk to her here in the default camp, maybe not in some other camps, but in the default camp, Karlach will be near enough to get relationship points. In other camps, what you need to do is bring Karlach over and try to mash buttons or have Shadowheart in the party when you do this. So realistically, it's just best to have Shadowheart and talk to her in the normal camp. If you're trying to max approval rating.
Bloody hells. Literally. Just when I think I've got a grasp on our dilemma, a devil shows up. No matter. We've dealt with every other oddity thrown at us lately. We can handle this one too. Now, as for this Raphael, he knows our secret. He claims he can help. What do you make of him?
We can use our wisdom to read her thoughts. Or try to.
Anticipation. She is testing you somehow. About Raphael.
If you pick number 1, you lock yourself out of the opportunity to get 5 relationship points with Shadowheart and 5 with Karlach. So we're going to say he's the devil. We shouldn't trust him. Simple as that.
No doubts at all. He seemed powerful and very knowledgeable about our problem. Not the worst prospect we've stumbled across. As long as you can look past what he is.
Enough about me. What do you think is best?
I'll tell you in due course. I just wanted to see how close we are in thinking, first of all.
I'm not going to just change my mind. We can't trust Raphael.
Good. That's what I wanted to hear. I know people who work much like our new acquaintance does. You don't need a scourge or a rack to break people. Fear and self-doubt is sufficient. When actual pain comes, the victim's already done the heavy lifting for their torturer. There were no right answers with that devil. He was toying with his food. Us.
Now, many times you get approval from someone, it's just +1. I've been going around and trying to catalog approval from your allies to see how much it gets. Shadowheart seems to have a lot of +5s. I didn't realize you were so well-versed in mental and emotional torment.
Aren't you glad that I am? It's an effective trick. Watch out for it. And for Raphael.
Not all of your party members will have dialogue that will give you bonuses. For example, Karlach, she actually doesn't really care what you have to say in this case.
Can't believe that devil just took us into the hells with a snap of his fingers. If I see him again, I'll wring his neck.
Was that the hells? How could you tell?
My engine stopped fuming for one. But even without that, I could just feel it. Raphael was his name, right? He's trying to lure us into a game he knows we can't win. I'm not playing. Glad you're not either.
Now there's a bloody devil trailing after us. Well, this gets better and better. Shop around, he said. He seems sure we won't find anything. And he might be right. We've had no luck so far.
If you want to sell your soul, be my guest.
I'm not about to throw my soul away. He's playing with us. He reminds me of, well, someone I used to know. Someone that liked to play with people. You're a warlock. You understand how dangerous the wrong deal can be.
Okay, just like with the spiders, what I'm about to do is deviating from my save. If you pick I do, we can't fall into whatever trap Raphael is planning, you get +1 with Asteria. If you pick Warlock, you get -1 with Asteria. I will be picking Warlock for this recording because 1, it is a class-specific one, so you might not get to see this. And 2, I like his rant. It's really good. Raphael's only a Cambion. We can handle him.
Oh, can we? Because you've got it all figured out, I'm sure. You know who tampered with the Parasite and why, and what they have planned for us. And of course you know why we're interesting enough that a devil, a Cambion, would proposition us. Because if you don't know that, you may as well sign over your soul now. We may escape whatever web we're trapped in, but until we know what's going on, this Raphael has us exactly where he wants us.
Need to find a way forward.
I really like all the body language people are using when they talk.
This
devil Raphael flaunts his paltry wings as if he wants to impress us. You saw the red dragon slaying his infernal kin above hell's fires, did you not? Next to a dragon, the devil's a gnat. When I am Kithrak, I will take my Queen Vlaakith his head as a trophy.
Well, we have no dragons at our disposal now, I'm afraid.
I will sit astride one. It is only a matter of time. I will ride a red dragon. I will wield the silver sword, and I will conquer every layer of hell should my queen command it.
Why were these knights chasing the Mind Flayer ship?
The Geich are my kind's mortal enemy. It is not unusual for the Kithrak to give chase, to penetrate the hells. This is unusual. But I'm not one to question the wisdom of my queen. I can see but to the horizon. Vlaakith's sight pierces the many planes.
Have to keep going.
The Devil with the Silver Tongue. An old fairy tale my father read to me. The kind with a hero, a villain, and a moral. A farmer made a deal with the devil, so the story goes. In exchange for the farmer's dearest fruit, the devil granted him a bottomless coin purse. The farmer's dearest fruit, naturally, was no apple nor peach, but his beloved daughter. We can learn a lot from fairy tales, don't you think?
Get to the point.
Do not trust a devil. Is that plain enough? Refuse him no matter how tempting the offer, no matter how delicious the feast he lays out for you. The cost's always too great.
You can actually encounter the devil before he becomes a devil himself. In that case, you don't get the last option in the previous dialogue tree. Refuse him like you refused Mizora. Only you didn't, did you?
I made a mistake. This is your chance to learn from it. He'll require of you only what you're least ready to part with, and then require more still. You might think you'd give up anything for a cure, but the devil won't take just anything. He'll take everything.
And of course, his approval and disapproval are still the same, even if he hasn't been converted. His transformation doesn't change anything, which makes him a huge hypocrite.
Do you feel as flattered as I do? Invited to dine with a devil.
With everybody else, you get approval by saying you don't want to work with the devil. With Will, you'd pick the other option, saying that, of course, you would never consider working with Raphael. He gets you +1. For Gale, you need to ask him for his opinion. Devils rarely approach mortals without some nefarious intent. We'd be wise to avoid him.
Don't let his bluster fool you. All that talk of desperation merely illustrates his own. I think he wants something from us, badly. And in that knowledge lies our opportunity.
I'll remind you that when dealing with the devil, you always draw the short straw.
There's no such thing as an absolute certainty. Let me play the devil's advocate. The man is too eager. Do not dismiss his offer out of hand. If there's one quality all the denizens of the hells embody, it's ambition. A quality they share with many humans, come to think of it.
At this point, you ask number 2, and that's how you get +1 relationship. And how do you propose we beat a devil at his own game?
By figuring out his true intentions. Fact 1, there's something very strange and very powerful about our tadpoles. Fact 2, a devil offers to take it away. Devils aren't known to aid mortals out of simple kindness. Whatever Raphael wants, we must be the key to getting it, along with our tadpoles. So, I say for now, we wait. If I'm right, Raphael will seek us out again, and when he does, there's a mighty bargain to be made. Remember his Cormyrean rhyme? Down came the claw. Perhaps we should start growing our nails.
Okay, anytime my characters change out, that's just me running around and removing and adding companions like normal, and then and then recording again from there. This is what the game looks like when it hasn't finished loading in for me, which lets me see a lot of interesting things, I'll tell you. It hasn't really conferred me any advantages because all the walk boxes and walls are still the same. Alright, while our character runs, we started here as a waypoint. This is where the battle happens, and this is the town. This is the mountainside where we find Raphael, but we only happen to find him this time. He's not going to be there every time. In fact, the first time I checked out that mountain, he wasn't there. So I believe it's basically a matter of how many times you've triggered certain events, because eventually Gale will have an affliction from the sheer fact I've been ignoring him all this time. But there's no reason to talk to him right now because I can't deal with the affliction, so I'd rather just get it all done at once, or to keep my segments thematic. Alright, so this dude here, as I mentioned before, that it's taken me a very long time to get to this point. He's normally supposed to have two people wailing over him, and they are members of the Goblin faction. So we'll encounter them later, and we will kill them. But this time, we didn't actually get to talk to them.
Strange power resonates within the corpse. It calls to you. Your limbs move of their own accord. There's something of value here, something your mind craves. Why let its host's memories go to waste? The tadpole has absorbed it all. Its experience could nourish you, strengthen you.
We let our body guide us, and welcome the tadpole's influence. If you take the other two checks and you pass, the tadpole does not get added to your inventory. You basically lose out on an opportunity.
These things abandon their hosts as soon as they need to. Vile parasites.
Here's hoping there's a cure apart from kicking the cart. This guy has a shaft of a broken spear. We're going to take that for now. And let's take a look at what killed him. We'll find the other creature with the rest of the spear embedded in it. In this cave, I recommend taking Shadowheart for a +5, Karlach, Shadowheart, and Gale for another +1.
Flowers, leaves, grass.
I was raised in the
Can't
city.
beat it.
I'm more used to feeling cobblestones underfoot than grass and fallen leaves.
Before I went to Avernus, I'd have agreed with you. Nothing quite like Baldur's Gate, is there?
Nothing in my recollection, anyway.
The Owlbear nest. The main road is right here, but there is some extra treasure in this direction, which we'll go and pick up.
Let's try this way.
There's only one check you have to pass, and that's perception.
Hey, a shrine to the moon god Selûne.
There's magic at play here. A spell keeping this chest shut. Something over there. A Selûnite prayer. Marked with the same symbol as the chest. I'll have to sully my tongue and recite it.
If you try to open this chest before reading the scroll right next to the chest, you will get some pretty tough damage. 4 to 24. You can read it over there, but it won't do any good. You need to read it over here. A prayer dedicated to Selûne, imploring all to accept the Moon Maiden's blessing and share in her bounty.
But empty words, clearly.
Guess she didn't actually successfully read it? I didn't know that could happen.
But empty words, clearly.
Interesting. Apparently she's not able to read it. Anybody else should be able to, though.
It's unlocked. My prayers are answered.
I like that. That's a nice touch. So once you click on this chest, you'll be entered into a dialogue with her.
You should leave it, or even destroy it if possible.
Don't be ridiculous. There could be something useful here.
This rubbish is an offering to Selûne. At best, it's worthless. At worst, who knows? Could be cursed. Do not trifle with that moon witch, or her trinkets. Only trouble will follow.
Okay, you can do intimidation and persuasion, and she won't stop you from looting the chest. If you pick this one, which has no checks, you get +5 relationship with her, but then you must pass a DC 15 sleight of hand check if you wish to loot the chest, or you can have her loot the chest. We're going to try insight, and I would like to fail this one. Good. That's exactly what I wanted this time. Why do you even care?
Because we've enough troubles and burdens as it is. Common sense, that's all.
Now we have the new option, Wisdom. If we had passed it, she would go ahead and explain that she is a priestess of Shar. We already knew that from looking at our level up screen. We want to do Wisdom, and then we want to say this. This way our character knows that she's a priestess of Shar. There's more. Use your Parasite and enter her thoughts. Look for what she's hiding. This time we want to pass this one.
She's repelled by the Selenite relics. They are an offense to her goddess, Shar.
Okay, now as a result of completing that wisdom check, you do have this as an option, but we don't want to pick that because then she'll just talk about the whole Shar thing and we don't get any approval. So we will pick this one. If it matters that much to you, I'll leave it.
It does. Thank you.
And then we can have someone else, again, roll for a DC 15, or we can just have her pick it up. Now, an interesting thing is if someone else picks it up, she will lose relationship with them, and it doesn't seem to reflect in this screen here. So if you go to character sheet, you'll see the approval. It's a nebulous bar here, but you can click on this detailed view. At least in the version I'm playing right now, if you bring someone in from the camp and they haven't had their approval change, or you haven't loaded the game, then this approval bar will be missing, this text right here. If you want to see a person's approval after you've just brought them into your party, then just save and load the game. Anyways, she's at 37 right now. If I were to have Karlach pick up the chest and the stuff in it, she will lose 5 points with Karlach. However, again, we can just negate this whole thing by having Shadowheart change your mind and pick it all up. What did we get inside? We found the Moon Drop Pendant. Everything else is money. Well, there's also the Selûne right. The Moondrop Pendant. It gives Writhing Dance, which says when the wearer has 50% hit points or less, they don't provoke opportunity attacks. This could be useful on someone who you want to run around the map. For the time being, since we're stacking half-orc abilities, we're going to put it on him. He doesn't need to continue to use this because he still has... I guess I didn't use it this day yet. Let's go and cast it now. Oh, I need a body first. Alright. Well, we'll worry about that later. Once I've cast Speak with the Dead, I no longer need to have it equipped, but this will allow me to, when I get my orc mortal, wait, not mortal reminder, relentless endurance, he could literally just run away. Like, let's say he were to get meleeed in the face and drop down to 1 hit point as a result of relentless endurance. He could just dash away. He doesn't have to use disengage. Again, that's not the best use of this, but that's what we're going to use it for right now. There's also a couple more interesting items here. The Scroll of Detect Thoughts, Potion of Animal Speaking, which you can use on the Owlbear, and a Potion of Healing. The rest is just flavor stuff. Alright, we can move this way to talk to the Owlbear, but we'd rather approach from this side. The front side actually gives us more advantages.
Wonder if the gods are watching me. That stench. Dead owlbear prey, no doubt.
Okay. if you wanted to, you could fight the big owlbear. If you hug this little corner here, it can't reach you, but the little owlbear can, so you'd have to kill the little owlbear. You don't even have to fight this at all. We brought these 3 to get some free approval points and an inspiration.
You feel the quake of its heavy footsteps before you see it. An owlbear, its beaked face looming out of the darkness.
What's this? Something weak, something tender. Won't even have to chew you before I feed you to my son. Soft meat.
Now, I can hear this owlbear because I have Speak with Animals active. We're gonna say, you're injured. There's still half a spear lodged in your head.
It's a splinter. I've gutted bigger threats than you with worse.
Let me go or you'll watch your cub die before I finish you. Now, friends, when the spell ends, you could lose 10 relationship with the person that you've cast it on. But since we don't really care about the owlbear's relationship, we'll go and cast it now. And get a 26.
Brave. Stupid, but brave. And I'm too tired to deal with brave. You can go, but you make one wrong step and I'll rip you to shreds.
Now we got Outlander and Mother's Fury. Okay. So let's try getting ourselves into position. You do want to spread out, because she does kind of just land on you.
At the ready.
NPCs typically restore all their health when out of combat. Not this one, because she's supposed to represent being wounded by that dead guy with the parasite.
Turn down the fire.
This means you can run in, attack, and flee, which is good for rogues and such. I was prepared for that. That's why I spaced Gale a little further. If this lets me control where the owlbear lands, because the owlbear can totally jump from the ground to up here. So I let the owlbear land on 2 of our characters. In this case, we're going to go ahead and cast Armor of Agathis. And I guess we Pommel Strike. The cat, let's see here, let's go to this side. Because the owlbear will be moving around a lot on the battlefield, we get some easy opportunity attacks. By the way, you can control where the owlbear moves. Specifically, if you pick up the owlbear egg, the person will then have the debuff Egg Bearer, and this owlbear will focus moving towards that character. You can even run the owlbear egg out of the cave and you'll lose Egg Bearer. I haven't tried testing how much further the game is affected by that, like if the owlbear chases you to camp or something. I'm gonna keep Gale away. Their throwing stuff is great damage, but if an enemy dies by the falling damage from your weapon, you may not get experience because it probably counts that damage as coming from a different entity. In this case, it looks like it not only hit the owlbear, but it also hit Tran. That's actually kind of funny. I never knew it could hit multiple people. I specifically hit the owlbear, you see here, and the spear also landed on Tran for 10 damage, reducing him down to 18 from his 28 with the Armor of Agathis ability. That's alright, fine. Let's see, is there anything else to do for this round? Actually, I think that's everything we need to do for this one. Now, the owlbear has a couple ways they can do this for the rage. I like the one where she screams, "What have you done?" more, but whatever. This is fine. Let's throw some more spears. Hopefully we don't hit Gale. We'll try aiming at the rear. I will keep that in mind in the future now. Could I? Yeah, go ahead and spend a turn healing her. Unfortunately, I won't be able to get close enough to the owlbear for another opportunity attack.
Need to act fast.
Nice. And it's frightened.
Easy.
The cub looks from you to his dead mother.
Wake. Hungry.
A single strike will end his suffering.
See if we can switch characters real fast. Yeah, let's revive Gale. Now you'll notice that I didn't get any EXP, just like I was talking about. Yeah, there we go. Owlbear was crushed by Javelin for 3 damage. Javelin killed Owlbear. Owlbear fell to their death. Instead of saying like Karlek killed Owlbear, Javelin killed Owlbear. So no experience for us. But this Owlbear, for all the fighting it gives us, it only gives us 20 XP. That's not very much at all. Alright, let's also get Karlek in position for the relationship bonus. It is only +1 though. Most interactions are +1, however. Don't expect +5 for everybody. Shadowheart has just a lot of +5s, though. If you don't kill this owlbear, when you come back, the owlbear will be dead, and 2 goblin corpses with just a goblin bow and a goblin scimitar. We're gonna let the creature live.
Hungry. Food.
You watch, speechless, as the cub begins to eat his mother.
The cub has a fighting chance now.
That, or we've just prolonged its misery.
After the next long rest that we do, the cub will be captured by the goblins, and you can start working on turning the cub into a pet. Go and pick up our javelins. You can also just not kill the owlbear, but I thought it would make a better video if I did. Also, even if you did let the goblins kill the owlbear, All this loot would still be here. This pork loin and this owlbear egg, they're both still here.
An owlbear egg. These are supposed to be worth a fortune.
Alright, the owlbear egg will drop automatically into your camp supply sack. It is worth 750 gold and 40 camp supplies. So you may not want to eat it if you need money.
Moving in.
Also, now that we have the shaft of the broken spear, and did I already loot? Oh, it was probably Karlach that looted it. Yeah, here it is. And the head of the broken spear. By right-clicking one of these, we can combine. And we get to create the Vision of the Absolute. Blind targets that fail a dexterity saving throw. Deals an additional 2 to 12 piercing damage to certain creatures that support multiple sets of eyes. And so now we'll just leave the cub. Getting the cub to join you is a long process, which I'll cover more once we get to the Goblin Fortress.
The easy part.
But you can get the cub. I have tested it. You can get the cub even after you kill the mother, or you can just let the mother go. Killing the mother only gets you 20 XP. But in my case, it gives me a video, so.
So, do you have loves waiting for you once this is all over?
You know what? That is not the easiest of questions for me to answer.
You mean just waiting? Like a lovesick puppy? Short-term amusements are much less hassle.
Have to keep going.
Yeah, since I realized I hadn't cast Speak with the Dead, we actually can speak to this guy right here. We'll do that.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
What were you doing here?
Looking for a weapon. The absolute.
When you're speaking with corpses, you only get 5 questions, so you should pick wisely, or save and load. What do you know about this weapon?
Crashed from the sky, taken by infidels.
What can you tell me about the Absolute?
Do not fight her. Power, such power.
Is there anything valuable around here?
Brenna and Dick.
Who are Brenna and Andric?
Sister. Brother. My job to protect them.
The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
Just because this guy's dead doesn't mean that he requires your sympathy. We'll take care of Brenna and Andric the evil way. Over here are twisting vines, which if you stand on them, you get movement speed halved, and creatures may become entangled. You can also just set it on fire.
Light on my feet.
If we take a look, it is completely over the water puddle of water this time. It is immune to fire, so we'll just use a crossbow shot. Yeah, it did no damage, it looks like. So it's not even worth it. I don't know what the point of it is for. I guess decoration.
These boots have seen everything.
Let's see what I can spirit away.
$865 hit points. I don't think I'm going to defeat him anytime soon. Well, I mean, we can get started.
Torment.
Whatever comes, I'm ready.
Okay, looks like Raphael is actually literally immortal. I whittled him down all the way to 0 HP just to find that out.